A big time pickup for the Clemson basketball team and Brad Brownell, and that is PJ Hall returning to play for the Clemson Tigers yet again after going to the combine, working out. We kind of got scared a little bit about what he may or may not do, but he comes out today and decides to release news that this morning at 10:30 a.m. that he will be returning to Clemson. He says, quote, "I'm thrilled." Brad Brownell says, quote, "I'm thrilled that PJ has decided to return to Clemson. I'm proud of how he performed at the NBA Combine, gaining valuable experience. He's one of the best players in our league, and I'm counting on him and others to help lead a very talented group this season." Clemson finished last year 23-10, going 14-6 overall in the ACC. He scored 17.6 points per game. Not only was he a big-time leader, big-time rebounder with 6.6 rebounds per game, and big-time defensive guy with 21 blocks on the season. He's a guy that can beat you down low, Houston. He can shoot a three here and there. He is a great rebounder, and he's a team leader. I think it can't be understated how great this is. He has over almost 2,000 likes on Twitter for coming back and announcing that he will be on the team next year. I think it's a huge pickup for Brad Brownell to have his superstar return.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal to have him back. Now, what are they going to do? Like, that's always going to be my question until the season starts is you got talent on this team. I don't think there's going to be a sentiment this year that, oh, we finished third place, we were really close, or this, that, or the other. It's like, no, you got talent. You got the talent to go there. You got a lot of guys that can shoot. You got the guy from Syracuse, the guy from Air Force, excuse me, the guy from NC State. You got talent all around. So it doesn't need to just be, oh, we made it to the tournament. It needs to be, oh, we made it to the tournament and we won a couple games, because they got the talent to do that. I'm grateful PJ's back. He's been the linchpin of this team for 2 years now. If you were going to do anything this year, you needed to have PJ Hall involved with that. Get him back for at least one more. You just got to see where the chips fall this year. And I'm hoping having him back alongside these transfers really translates into something down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it'll be great to see PJ Hall back. I think it's huge for Clemson to get a leader back in. Like I said, somebody who is good on the offensive boards, defensive boards, and blocking. Facts and Childress recently came out and put in that. Let me see if I can put up this share here. I'm going to see if I can't throw it on the screen if possible. He put out a post about the potential roster for next season, and I think it's pretty neat. I'll push it live here so you can see it. So he puts in there projected 2023-2024 men's basketball starting five: point guard Joe Girard, shooting guard Chase Hunter. So Chase Hunter potentially moving back to that two-guard position and not having to be the point guard. Let's just start there. How important is that for him to not have to be the point guard going into next year?
I think it's big that he's in his more natural position. He's better as a driver and scorer than a distributor. I think that he could definitely be more of the natural fit at that shooting guard position. Joe Girard being the point is probably better suited. I'm just curious if I'm looking down at the strong forward, power forward combo there of Clark and Shefflin. I wonder if there is if this guy from Air Force, I can't pronounce his last name, or I got to learn how to pronounce it. But my curiosity there is, would you see all guys that have transferred in, your Air Force guy being at strong forward, Jack Clark being power forward, he can fill that role as well. So seeing Clark, Air Force guy, Hunter, Girard, and PJ Hall in there, and then seeing Shefflin as a six-man. I don't know if that would be something that would be in the cards given his injury, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that he's not going to play this year. I could be wrong, but I'm under the impression that he's not going to be able to play because of that. I think it was a back injury.
Well, they said it hadn't been ruled out. He said it's not ruled out yet. He's had surgery. They're going to see. He may miss some time, but I don't know. I've heard mixed reports that he could be potentially in the mix for next year. We don't know yet.
So I'll give you some highlights here of Joe Girard, who was number 11 for Syracuse. He was a guard, 6'1", 190, senior from Glen Falls, New York, Glen Falls High School. Girard was one of 20 players named to the Jerry West Award watch list prior to the season. The award recognizes the top shooting guard in college basketball. The seniors' team high 19 points led the way in the season opener against Lehigh. Girard had 14 points against Colgate, 21 points including 5 3-pointers when the Orange defeated Northeastern. He scored a career high 31 points in the Empire Classic. Overtime victory against Richmond. He dropped 20 points against Notre Dame, 18 points in part of 4 3-pointers against Oakland, 6 assists against also 6 assists against the Grizzlies, 15 points, 4 rebounds against Georgetown, 16 points against Monmouth. He shot perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line against Cornell. 16 points against Pittsburgh, 24 points against Boston College, 28 points against Louisville, 19 points against Virginia, and 24 points against Virginia Tech, 21 points against Miami. So 28 points against Georgia Tech. I mean, this guy has consistently seen, now he did only get 11 points against Clemson. So, I guess maybe there's a little bit better defense there on the, I know Clemson and Brad Brownell is always known for their defense. So maybe he got locked down there. But for the most part in ACC play, the guy was able to get in a ton of 3-pointers and was able to get 18 points or more majority of the time in ACC play. And he even got up as high as 36, as we talked about. So he seems like a guy that can shoot the three. Seems like a guy that's a good guy that can get you a good amount of assists as well. So just from that snapshot, I haven't seen much of him, but we already know what Chase Hunter can do. He can handle the point guard position, so and he can do the shooting guard as well. Joe Girard, I think really both of those guys can complement each other and force defenses not to pick on one guy because you got to worry about both.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how this guy is rehab back, I think Joe Girard is going to be somebody that you're going to want a lot of minutes out of this year. You still got some guys that you're bringing up from this. You had a lot of freshmen play last year, which is a good thing. I think it's even better that you have several of these guys that they're going to be behind, such as like, Clark and Girard, where you may not have to rely on these growing sophomores a little bit more. So I think in the end, this lineup, you got a lot of talent there. You got a lot of a little bit more depth. So I'm looking for things to happen this year.
So is Jack Clark, he's the guy that comes from NC State then?
Yes.
So Clemson picks up Girard as a transfer, Clark as a transfer, and then they're gonna keep Hunter, Shefflin, and Hall. Let me see if I can get you some stats on Jack Clark here. Get a little bio on him from NC State. This guy, 6'8", 200-pound graduate student from Cheltenham. Does that sound right?
No idea.
Averaged 12 points per game at LaSalle. They didn't. I guess they haven't updated it here. But 12 points per game, 13 points per game in conference play, 11 rebounds, 18 points. Let's see. Another guy that's typical, 15, 16 points. This guy gets more rebounds than Girard, of course. He's up into the 10, 11, 12 rebounds per game. So he's a guy that could be a guy who, can get you a decent amount of minutes and points, but looks like a guy that's going to be up there to get you a ton of rebounds as well. So maybe another compliment there for the rest of those big men, Shefflin, Clark, and Hall. But when I look at that, that's not necessarily the biggest lineup, would you say?
No, there are concerns regarding outside of PJ Hall. There are concerns defensively with these guys, and maybe Chase Hunter or Wise, but the transfers we don't know yet. And so they're not necessarily the biggest lineup. PJ is what, 6'10". He's not necessarily the biggest big in the world. That's not sliding his performance. It's just kind of what it is. And so there are some concerns with size and what they would do defensively. So that's definitely something that you need to keep tabs on, especially once you get into conference play next year.
Now, Go Tigers in the chat says for Clemson, well, he says, with the talent on this team, we should compete for an ACC championship, in his opinion. Also says that he hopes, or I hope, that Hemingway plays better and stays healthy. We could really use his shooting. I think that's true. You missed him a couple of games last season, and you really missed out on his ability to really threaten the other team from three-point land. If you throw him in the mix, then that really can allow you to kind of stretch those teams and force them to go out and guard the three-pointer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's always a wait and see when it comes to the defensive play, especially in a team like this where you're going to have several transfers coming in on this team. So we don't know if they're going to gel, whatever is going to happen. Like, it's just you're going to be a wait and see until you get a couple games into the season to see how they're really playing with each other.